Hey everyone, this is Dean with DCA Crypto. Going to cover the crypto markets with you guys today, let you know what's going on in crypto and some news that's coming up here. So I'd appreciate if you subscribe to my channel, smash that like button, and let's jump into it. All right, today we're going to go over some different things in crypto, Bitcoin in general, and also Ethereum. What's going on with ETH coming up here? We got some big news for Ethereum, so let's jump into it here. All right, so 2.5 trillion market cap still. We haven't had much, and this obviously could change by the time this video comes out because, crypto is crypto, but it hasn't changed much in the last few days. We're still down under that around 66,000 with Bitcoin. We did drop down to 65,000. ETH got down to like 3,400. It's still under 3,500. Not much changing with that. Not a whole lot going on in the market right now. We've been kind of on this downward trend, and that downward trend could continue over the next few months, so we got to be prepared for that. So we'll jump into the chart here for Bitcoin. So we bounced off the 72,000 level a couple times. They thought maybe that we would come up and test it a third time from here, but it looks like we made kind of a double top here, and now we may come down lower. We may come all the way down to like 60,000, somewhere in that range, possibly lower if we keep on a downward trend over the next few months. We'll have to see. There's a lot of people out there analyzing the chart saying it would be possible to get down in the $45,000 to $50,000 range, possibly by the end of July. If we keep on this downward trend, it wouldn't be out of the question, and it still would keep us in a bull run for later this year if that were to happen. But it'd be really painful for us who have been holding this whole time, especially on our altcoins, for this to happen, because it's going to absolutely destroy altcoins if that happens. So just be prepared for it. May or may not happen. I wouldn't panic sell. Me personally, I would not sell because I'm expecting this to happen. I'm just going to hold through this and wait for the explosion later this year, hopefully, because there's no guarantee this will happen. Crypto will surprise you. When you think it's going to go up, it goes down. When you think it's going to go down, it goes up. You just never know what's going to happen with crypto. So every time you panic sell, a lot of your odds are against you in a cycle like this, where we're still in the beginning phases of the bull run. The odds are against you if you panic sell, because your chances of being able to buy in at higher price or lower prices don't always work out, and you get stuck out of those coins if that happens, or buying back at higher prices. So just be careful with that. But this isn't financial advice for you guys. You guys do what you want to do. Me personally, I'm not going to sell thinking that we're going to go lower. I'm just going to hold through this and see what happens here. You guys should have known that a sell signal for Bitcoin was when I bought it the other day. I knew as soon as I bought it, it was going to tank, and it sure enough it did. But it is what it is. If we go much lower, if we get down to that 60,000 level, 61,000 level, I'll probably grab some more Bitcoin just to kind of balance out my dollar cost average a little bit on it. But when I bought half of Bitcoin the other day, as my first time really buying a large chunk of Bitcoin. I bought just small amounts before for trading, on Bitcoin network and stuff for gas fees, but I've never actually purchased Bitcoin. So sure thing, when first time I purchased Bitcoin, I go buy half of it, and it tanks like $3,000 within a day or so. But it is what it is. And eventually it'll be much higher, and it won't matter. So not too worried about it. So yeah, we could drop all the way down here. We got this double top pattern here. It doesn't really mean too much. If we look out, if we take a zoom out on this. So to me, if you zoom out, we're still, to me, you're on an upward trend. Even if we come down to these levels here, to 56,000 or something, to me, that's still on an upward trend. I'm not a chart expert by any means, and I don't claim to be. I don't know a lot about charts, so I'm going to stick with what I know, and what I know is the historical evidence of Bitcoin says that after the halving in an election year, in the liquidity cycle and all that, puts us into a bull run towards the end of the halving year, after the halving, and that's what we're heading into. So I'm going to go with the history of Bitcoin and expect and hope that we're going to come into a big bull run later this year and into 2025. There's no guarantee of that, of course. I don't have a crystal ball, but I'm just going to hang through this and see what happens. When I get some dry powder, I'm going to put some more into the market at some of these lower prices and try to add some more to my portfolio. My portfolio is basically packed and ready for this bull run, so I'm not worried about it. So for those of you who get this opportunity, who didn't get an opportunity earlier, try to take advantage of this and you know, get some of these coins, especially the gaming coins, at lower prices. And you can see on this chart it flipped here from blue to red, which means it's pretty much a short on Bitcoin to start. That it's going to start declining on this 50-day EMA here. That signal there tells you that we're coming down lower. When it flipped blue here, it told you that we're coming up. So you can kind of follow this chart on TradingView. It's a free tool. So we're going to jump into some news, some good news here for Ethereum. And it's this article here is basically by MaldineEconomics.com. So they're talking about the Ethereum ETF, and they're talking about why it's taking so long for the ETH ETF to come into play here. I'm going to read you some bits of this article because it's really interesting. This person has a very, very good outlook for the Ethereum ETF, and they think it's going to do well. So I'm going to read some of this article here for you. So they're saying, what's taking so long? As discussed, the SEC basically approved the ETF, but you still can't buy it, and they want to know what's going on. Basically, the approvals typically come in 2 stages. Ethereum passed the first one. Now the ETF issuers like BlackRock and Fidelity are busy working to complete the second stage. It's an exercise of filling out all the paperwork. But basically, they've got paperwork that they need to fill out to get this going so they can actually list the Ethereum ETF. And they're saying, will the ETF launch move Ethereum's price? This person says, yes, it's a huge deal for Ethereum. The most important development since I started investing in crypto over 5 years ago. And he's saying, just look how Bitcoin performed since its ETF launched on July 10th. It's up more than 50%. And I mentioned this in my video a while back when the ETF for ETH got approved. I told you the price action for Bitcoin was really positive since the Bitcoin ETF was approved, and to expect the same or even better out of ETH, because there was a lot of selling pressure from Bitcoin being sold from the futures. So you got to kind of keep that in mind. There was a lot of Bitcoin being sold while it still grew over 50% after that ETF launch. There was like millions and millions of dollars of Bitcoins being sold, possibly billions. I'm not sure what the dollar amount was, but there was a lot of Bitcoin being sold during that time frame when it still grew 50%, even with all that selling pressure. So keep that in mind. Ethereum doesn't have that selling pressure. There's nothing that needs to be sold off with it being converted to a spot ETF. So keep that in mind. Ethereum could do even better than Bitcoin. And you got to also keep in mind the psychological factor of Ethereum. It's a cheaper price for one Ethereum versus one Bitcoin. So psychologically for people, they might want to buy like, you know, several Ethereum versus, you know, just a portion of a Bitcoin. So you can kind of keep that in mind too. It may have an even more positive impact on Ethereum kind of right off the bat because of its price as well. So that's another factor to take into consideration. So it says here, in less than 6 months, BlackRock's ETF raked in $17 billion in assets. We've never seen anything like this in ETFs before. Why do ETFs matter? They introduced the infinite bid into crypto. When tens of millions of Americans get paid every other week, they buy stocks on autopilot through retirement accounts. This creates a continuous demand for stocks and constant upward pressure on prices. Crypto lacked this infinite bid, but now they have it with ETFs. So until the ETFs arrive, now many of the world's largest moneymaker managers are having their clients buy and hold Bitcoin in their 401k, which I'm doing myself, and I plan on adding some Ethereum as well. Just billions of dollars poured into Bitcoin once it's got its ETF. The same will happen for Ethereum. And remember, Ethereum is only about 1/3 the size of Bitcoin. It means it takes less money to move its price. And he says, I think Ethereum could attract around 20% of the inflows Bitcoin got. What will happen when billions of dollars that were previously walled off flows into Ethereum? Much higher prices, I expect. ETH has surged 25% since its ETF news broke. I think we're only getting warmed up. And this person says here, will this open up the floodgates for more crypto ETFs? He says it's unlikely, and he's saying that, you know, he doesn't want to be a Debbie Downer, but it doesn't mean that it's going to give other cryptos the green light. But he does say here, you know, he talks about the ETFs for Bitcoin and Ethereum. They already had the Bitcoin futures on the stock exchange, and it was just a matter of, you know, the SEC saying, well, the price action of the Bitcoin futures is going to be the same as a spot ETF, so there's really not a whole lot of difference between the two. So we might as well go ahead and approve them. There are no other crypto futures on the stock exchange currently. But this person's guessing, kind of like my guess is, that Solana will be next in line to get an ETF. But even if its futures get started trading on the CME tomorrow, it would likely still take at least another year or two to push an ETF through. So keep that in mind. It doesn't mean it's going to happen anytime soon. It could still likely take a few years or so before we see another ETF come through. So, some good news, some bad news in crypto. Yes, it's kind of really painful right now being in this space with crypto being on a decline and our altcoins getting crushed hard right now. But the pain may not be over. We may see a lot more pain in the next few months. We may not, so just hang in there. Don't know exactly what's going to happen for sure. All I know is that we're halfway through June now, which is a good sign. I think we've only got about another month and a half to maybe 2 months left of this negative movement in the market. Summer will be over and we'll be moving into the fall. Once we get into August and September, I would expect the markets to pick up again like they typically have in the past. Does that mean they will? It doesn't, but historically that's what happens. So that's what I'm going to kind of go by for right now, as I've let you guys know several times on my channel. Nobody has a crystal ball. We can look at the charts all we want, but if you look at the history of Bitcoin and the cycles of crypto, it always gets really, really kind of dull and boring in the summer, and prices decline over the summer, and then they pick up in the fall and winter. I think that's what's happening here, even with the ETF. I think the difference between the ETF is it pushed us up so high that we got to a new all-time high that people weren't expecting a correction. They were just thinking we're going to keep going up forever and ever because there's all this buying pressure on Bitcoin. And I was telling people, it doesn't mean squat. History with Bitcoin says we're probably going to see some blood over the summer months, and that's exactly what's happened here, and it could get worse from where we're at now. So keep that in mind. If you have some dry powder, maybe you want a dollar cost average into these dips if we get them here. We've already got some good dips in a lot of coins. There's a lot of them out there that are really good buys right now. There's people that missed out, and people are kind of giving up. It's like, really? This is the time where this is like, you're almost there. You're almost there. You're almost on the home stretch. You're getting tired. You're getting fatigued. We've made it this far in the bull run. Don't miss out on the most exciting, most explosive, absolutely insane, mind-blowing gains that could be coming up here ahead. I'm telling you that right now. If we get a bull run like we have in the past, and you've never been in one before, it's going to blow your mind. I'm telling you right now. Especially now that we've got some really positive legislation coming into crypto. You've got all three presidential candidates talking about crypto now, bringing it into the election. Trump just said yesterday that he's going to stop Biden's war on crypto if he gets elected, and make sure that Bitcoin and crypto are safe in the United States and thrive. You've got Robert Kennedy Jr., who's very positive on crypto as well. Even Biden is accepting crypto for his campaign now. So I think you're going to start seeing some really positive moves in crypto, and hopefully a lot more coins listing on some of these exchanges like Coinbase and Uphold and others over the next few years here in crypto. Hopefully, we really need to get that FIT21 bill passed as soon as possible so it can lay out some guidelines for these exchanges to actually run successfully in the United States and list more coins. So just hang in there, guys. Obviously not financial advice for you, just my personal opinion. And me, I'm hanging in here, seeing what happens over the next few months, and hopefully we go into a bull run later this year. If we do, look out, because it's going to blow your mind. I'll tell you that right now. Because crypto, when we're in the full bull run, the price action you've seen late last year and earlier this year is absolutely nothing compared to what it is in the main bull run like we had in the past. The 2021 bull run was small compared to the bigger ones that were before that, where we had blow off tops, and that absolutely was an insane bull run in 2021. And that, if we get anything like that or better this time, I'm going to be really happy with my portfolio if that happens. So just hang in there, guys. I appreciate it, guys. We'll see you on the next video.
Tell me what you want, what you need. Tell me what you want, what you need. Tell me.